Well, first of all, because I have two young children and they're involved in a lot of sports, it's very difficult for me to coach at the high school level. And there's a few sports I'd like to coach, would maybe be baseball or softball, but I'm really involved in their sports. And one of the ways in which I can get involved in my seniors' lives would be to be a class sponsor. And I think that, you know, I've done it for 6 years. I'm pretty good at it. I know what I'm doing, and I think it allows me an opportunity to reach out and impact their lives more than I can just in the classroom. Plus, I teach seniors, and I teach 4 senior classes.
It's exciting. You know, I'm really looking forward to a new chapter in my life, going to college and hopefully working to become a broadcaster one day. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but for the most part, I am pretty excited. I've been talking to some of the older people that I work with and, you know, live in my neighborhood, and I've been staying involved with the college I'm going to, keeping up with things they email me about and call me about, just so I'm the most comfortable I can be when I do go there. Well, they're great with the broadcasting program. I've heard that. I've seen that on their websites that they internship with, you know, all the local big stations, you know, KDKA, WPXI, and those are things I definitely want to get involved in, internships, just to kind of get my foot in the door, so eventually, hopefully, I can work there one day.
I say that every year, though. I say that every year. In fact, last year I was so sure that that was the last time that I was going to be the sponsor. And I usually say that at the end of every semi-formal dance, that this is it, I'm done. But next year I keep doing it.
It's exciting, but I don't really look at that stuff. I pay attention more to just how fun it is to do the work in general. Well, it's one of my God-given talents with a decent voice, I think. And it's fun to do. I mean, I've done it here at the school for almost 4 years now. I think it's going to be exciting, though, to do something I'd love to do in life.
I don't see a trend. It's every class is different. They have their own unique personality. You know, some classes are really into one another. They're into your class. Each year changes, and that's what makes it special. And yeah, I wouldn't say that there's a trend now. No, I wouldn't say kids, you know, seniors are seniors. They were seniors, you know, 20 years ago when I was in school. They may know a little bit more, maybe a lot more in some cases, but about kind of current event ideas, technology, so on and so forth. They just naturally pick things up much more than we did when I graduated. But in general, I don't really see so many trends.
My senior project, it's a TV show about automotive detailing. We did some shots at Moon Park with my car, my friend's car, and then we watched them, or washed them. And we pretty much did like a dialogue. It's like a Top Gear sort of a thing. And now I'm currently in the editing state of it, and hopefully I can wrap that up this week. I've been able to work with the other side of the TV world with the editing stuff. It's something I kind of knew about, but not really in depth. And I think that's going to be able to help me down the road.
I think this year's senior class, first of all, I like my officers a lot. I have wonderful officers, from Jimmy to Nick to Pat and Sydney. I think they do a great job. And in general, though, it's a small senior class. But it's kind of a vanilla senior class. There's not a lot of true characters. In other words, there's not a lot of people that jump out and differentiate themselves from you know, maybe classes that I've had before. And it's not a knock on the senior class. I really like the senior class, and I think that's what I like about this senior class, is that, you know, they're a good class. They're very kind of humble. In other words, they don't have really big ups and they don't have many downs, so to speak. But the kids are great. I mean, I've never had one instance where, you know, I'm blowing up at any of the kids that I teach, and you know. That says a lot about this class, and I think it's going to end with you know, a lot of positive results, with the semi coming up very shortly, senior breakfast, and then ultimately graduation. The first activity that I coordinate is senior week, and that's pretty important, and that entails the, kind of starting the year off on a positive note for the seniors with purchasing and procuring the t-shirts, and then organizing senior week. And then from there I try to, I have to organize cap and gowns and try to get kids with the knowledge of understanding that they got to purchase cap and gowns. I have to organize and I have to basically try to organize our senior class fundraiser, which helps with the entire process of paying for the senior semi, senior breakfast, and then believe me when I tell you there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes at graduation. So that's a lot. It's a lot, but I enjoy it. That's something that I enjoy. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it.
Definitely, I would recommend doing it. Getting involved in school makes it more enjoyable. You have something to look forward to each day, not just, can't wait to go home. I'm currently, you asked what I'm involved in. I'm involved in the announcements program. I'm a volunteer at the local cable station who works with the school. So we get to cover various school events and sports, things like that. I wouldn't just do it to look good for a college application or my friends are going, so I'm going to do it. Do something you really have an interest in.
Probably, there's just, the first year I came into this school district was, I think honestly, I can't remember the year, but the bottom line is the kids that I taught that year, when they graduated, I was their senior class sponsor, and they recognized me, they pulled me up on stage, and they gave me a gift on stage, which I wasn't expecting at graduation. It actually choked me up quite a bit because it showed their gratification and their, they were basically trying to say thank you for being there and, being that teacher that they respected and vice versa. They knew that I respected them as a class. It was very emotional. I had a very strong tie with that class and many of those kids. So that's probably the most memorable experience that I ever had that was extremely positive. And, on another note, a lot of the semis, after a successful semi dance, a lot goes on behind the scenes. Putting on a semi is like putting on essentially a wedding for kids. And when the kids all leave and I know that they're safe and they had a good time, and they were all smiles, and while they're leaving the semi, they're all thanking me. Thank you, Mr. Durama. Thank you so much, Mr. D. Big Daddy, thanks so much. They're giving me a fist pump. That is so gratifying to know that they had a good time and a safe time, and that, that's their little way of saying, giving me their appreciation. So those are the most gratifying times. But that one time was definitely, a tearjerker for me. I think the expectations they set forth for the other classes would be their behavior, how they behaved, the integrity that class had. For instance, this last class in 2013, they were very selfless. They decided rather than to have a semi-dance at a very expensive hotel or a venue, that that really wasn't what was important to that class. They didn't want an expensive senior gift. They wanted to give all the money that they earned for their 4 years back to the school. And so, those senior class officers in that class decided that they were going to purchase furniture, outside furniture for the high school, that the high school would have for the next 10 to 15 years. And we purchased almost $10,000 worth of furniture, which is awesome. And that class set an example for future classes. Well, senior year can be very stressful. It can have its upside, it can have its downside. But the advice is have fun, and to really, you're going to learn to make good choices, essentially. Make good choices, and remember Mr. Doremo's doctrine. Life's about choices, and choices have consequences.
To have fun. I think it's an important year to not, completely, oh, I don't care about my academics. I mean, you should still care, but, this is kind of like your last year of childhood to be a kid, kind of get away with silly things you wouldn't normally be able to do as an adult.